What's up, you mad dogs? This is my full card prediction and breakdown video for this week's UFC Fight Night, headlined by Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres, taking place in Baku, Azerbaijan. This is a pretty cool city, by the way, guys. Sick architecture. One thing, though, when they went here last year, I feel like the crowd was pretty, shit, energy-wise, apart from when their guys were fighting, which was only, 3 people. You got fights going on, guys. Come on. I mean, maybe I'm remembering incorrectly, but I feel like that was the case. You got fights going on. Fucking make some noise, boys, all right? Anyways, we're going to break down the whole card, work our way up from the bottom to the top. If I'm mouth breathing a whole bunch through this video, I'm sorry. I'm fucking dying. I tried to record some shit yesterday. I couldn't fucking talk. I wanted to make a video on the rankings and the DP situation. But just couldn't get anything out, all right? It is what it is. I'm going to try and fucking smash through this one today and give you the best kind of breakdown I can do, okay? Let's get right into it with the first fight of the night. We have Tahir Abdullayev versus Jefferson Nascimento. Neither guy has been in the UFC. As you can see from the stats here, one thing to mention with these stats, they're UFC.com stats, so if a fighter has not fought in the UFC, they won't have any stats recorded. And that also goes to say that it's only going to be judging off the fights they've had in the UFC, so it's not always something that you can turn to get a really accurate result unless both fighters have had a lot of fights in the UFC. But it's good to have there in certain matchups, you know. In this fight, I'm going to go with Jefferson Nascimento. Both guys actually are lightweights coming in, fighting at welterweight. I don't know if this was a short notice kind of thing or what. But Jefferson Nascimento, LFA lightweight champion. I think he's the cleaner, more technical fighter in this situation. Tahir, very dangerous, a lot of finishing potential, explosive, powerful, you know. A lot of knockouts, a lot of submissions. Most submissions, they come from like that front headlock or north-south position. So more so defensive kind of opportunistic submissions as opposed to offensively wrestling, getting the fight to the ground and finding a rear naked. He's actually, I've noticed in some of his fights that he can be taken down quite easily and controlled on the ground for a bit. And he will jump a gilly. So that'll oftentimes end him up in bottom position and having to fight his way up. Whereas Nascimento, he's a pretty clean approach. He wants to take the back foot, circle around the cage, use feints and jabs to, get his range and kind of make his opponents miss. Use the leg kicks. I think the leg kicks are going to be a big thing for him here. I think he's going to be able to make Tahir miss a lot. Tahir, he whiffs big, wide, meaty fucking hooks, And Jefferson is just a little bit more of a clean approach. He's got some decent power in the hands as well. And I think he's just going to be a little bit more ahead in the technical level here. And I think he's going to be able to pick apart Tahir Abdullayev across 3 rounds and pull off a decision win. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that one. Jefferson Nascimento by decision, 29-28. Hopefully we don't get any dodgy fucking scorecards on this one. Let's move on. Next fight of the night, we have Bekzat Almakhan versus Gene Matsumoto. I'm taking Gene Matsumoto. I feel like the constant pressure, mixing in the grappling, along with high output striking style of Gene Matsumoto is going to be enough to stifle Bekzat to have this low output kind of thing. He throws more, but when there's no danger of the wrestling, he's going to be kind of on the back foot, looking for the counter. He's got a very nasty uppercut, big power in the hands. Obviously, you can see 10 knockouts here. So he can definitely find the chin, and he does have a nasty uppercut. And he was having some success early against Topuria, and he had some success early against Umar Nurmagomedov. He dropped Umar, So he's very dangerous. He's very dangerous, and he's not completely lost on the ground. I'm not saying that Matsumoto is going to come in here, take him down, and hold him down and just shut him out. He can definitely work his way back up, and he's been able to do so in those fights. But that pressure and the takedown threat, I think it just takes away from his striking game a lot. And he's kind of just sitting there waiting. You're just kind of waiting, you know? And it's just not enough for him to pull off a decision. He wants to just find that big shot and find that KO. And Jim Matsumoto is pretty tough. He can take a punch. He's got, like I said, very good output on the feet. His striking's all right, you know. Good output, not crazy power or anything in the hands. He's got a decent submission game, but I don't see him getting a sub here. If Topuria or Magomedov were not able to, I don't see Matsumoto pulling that off. But maybe I'm wrong. But I am going to say Jim Matsumoto wins a decision. I'd say like a 30-27, just all 3 rounds. Or maybe Bekzat wins the first round. Bekzat will be very dangerous early. That's the main danger, the early danger for Bekzat Almakhan with the power in the hands. But the more the fight goes on, that starts to fade away. He's on the back foot, kind of getting pieced up. That's what happened in the Topuria fight anyway. I'm not putting... I mean, you could put Matsumoto on a similar level to Alexandre Topuria. We don't really know how good Topuria is yet, you know? And his brother just got fucking checked badly, okay? Let's move on. Jim Matsumoto by decision. That's going to be my pick for that fight. Next up, we have Daniil Donchenko versus Theodor Berggren. I think I said that right. Short notice opponent stepping in for Andreas Gustafsson, who had to pull out due to some heart issues, I believe. Fucking terrible to hear. Really fucking shit kind of thing to hear. Not what you want to hear, you know? Really shit. So all the best to him, and hopefully all goes well health-wise, and hopefully he can get back up on his feet. But he's out of the UFC now, so that's kind of sad. And he was very exciting, even though he had that crazy fight with Kalen Williams, and then got knocked out by Renat Fakhrin. Fucking shit, man. That's sad as fuck. When I read that, I was like, what the fuck, bro? That's crazy. Crazy how fucking life can just, you know, hand you these curveballs. Anyways, let's jump into this fight. Daniil Donchenko, I'm taking him to win by knockout. Very aggressive. As you can see, incredible output on the feet. Very, very aggressive. Nasty elbows, especially in the clinch. His elbows are something of fucking just insane. He put a working on Alex Morono. Yeah, he couldn't get him out of there. But there was a few moments, like I just think Alex Morono is too tough for his own good. And there was a few moments there where the ref could have absolutely stopped it while Daniil Donchenko was teeing off on him on the fence. But he didn't. And he ended up winning a very dominant decision. I think the judges had it like 30-26. I think 2 judges had it 30-26. So even though he couldn't get him out of there, it was super dominant. So it's the next best thing, you know. Berggren, short notice. I don't like it. He's on the feet a little bit. Yeah, you know, a little bit, yeah. A lot to learn. He's got a loss to I was looking at the records of these guys that he's lost to, and they've lost to people that are like not great. I know that MMA math don't always add up, but I think with the short notice and all that, I think it's pretty safe for us to say that the very aggressive and very dangerous Daniil Donchenko, coming off of winning tough, is going to be able to get this done. Inside of 2 rounds by TKO. Pressure, clinch, elbows, control. Berggren's fucked, okay? Daniil Donchenko's going to win this fight. TKO round. What round are we going to go with? Let's do round 1. Round 2. Round 2 TKO, right? Theodor to survive the very, very early danger, but then eventually start to suffer in that second round, okay? That's what we're going to go with. Donchenko ripping him up, opening cuts with elbows. Very nasty approach. I love watching this dude fight, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Let's move on to the next fight of the night. Kaan Ofli versus Javier Reyes. And fuck me, man, I really wanted to pick Kaan Ofli here, but I'm not going to do it. This is close. This is a close fight. Kaan Ofli's ordinary. Coming off of the win, you could say. Not really a win, though. It is a win on the books. But he did not beat Zia. I watched this shit live. I was there in the crowd. UFC 325 in Sydney. He did not beat Zia. Watching the fight back on tape, I could see a world where you give him the first round. He did not beat Zia. Zia was fucking putting it on him, you know? Anyways, Kaan Ofli, more of a grappling danger. Not the best on the feet. A little bit of a concern with the chin. Got slept out bad by Myron Santos. Got rocked badly by Zia on multiple occasions in their fight. His hands, clean with the hands, but he's not super dangerous, you know? Not super dangerous. But in saying that, Javier Reyes, this dude literally swings. Like, he'll step into the pocket and he'll throw a straight like that. Like, his chin comes up like that. It's crazy watching this dude strike and then looking at his record and seeing that this dude is just finishing people like crazy. Literally, I'm not fucking joking. You will see it because he does it in every single fight. He will come in, throw a big 1-2, like chin right up there, bro. I've never seen it. Well, I've seen it before, but like from a dude that's in the UFC now, just got a finish over Douglas Silva de Andrade, not without adversity, by the way. Did get dropped in that fight badly with his fucking unusually plotty fucking head movement. Very, very big warning signs here on Javier Reyes. But he is very dangerous. He does have good power in the hands. Puts on a good output. As you can see, 8.91 strikes landed per minute. I mean, all these stats, by the way, based off of a 15-minute timing. If you go on the UFC stats website, you'll be able to see them yourselves. Just so you know. But yeah, Javier Reyes, very dangerous. Puts on a good output. Defensive holes in the striking. The grappling, it's there. I haven't seen a whole lot of it. I didn't get a chance to watch too much tape on his grappling or anything like that. I do work a fucking full-time job and I got a family, guys. So I put as much as I possibly can into these predictions, but I can't always delve right into the depths of these prelims fights, okay? But Javier Reyes, I'm going to pick him to win. I'm going to pick him to win by knockout. But like I said, I don't think Kaan Ofli is the dude to check Javier Reyes. I think Douglas Silva de Andrade is more dangerous and more powerful in the hands than a Kaan Ofli. But he can be clean with the boxing. So I'm not going to be completely shocked if Ofli just sleeps him. But Javier Reyes has been able to show that he can get dropped, but continues to survive, grapple up, wrestle up, and, work his way back into the fight, which is exactly what he did against Douglas Silva de Andrade on debut. Got dropped badly, smashed on the chin with, I think it was a big overhand, right? Hammered down and wrestled up. Eventually found the finish at the very end of the first round. Good power in the hands. Submission threat, so I think he can hold up with the grappling game of Ofli. I could see Ofli having early success. He often comes out pretty hot. At the start, of fights, he often looks all right. But just in the striking, man, I just don't trust his striking enough. to be able to survive with someone as dangerous as Javier Reyes, despite the incredibly obvious holes in his striking defense. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, all right, boys? Javier Reyes, round 2 knockout. That's my final prediction for that one, okay? Let's move on to the next fight of the night. Nursulton Ruziboev versus Andrey Pulyaev. I'm picking Nursulton Ruziboev here, boys. Begzat couldn't get him out of there in the first. He dropped him bad. Dropped him bad with the pressure early on. Smashed him. He could have probably finished him. Let him get back up. He dropped him a couple times, I'm pretty sure. Pulyaev, he is a technical kickboxer, and he's very good with the kicks. And he can, work at range and kind of pick you apart. But I don't think Ruziboev is going to let him do that. He's very, very dangerous. Insane record. 20 submissions, 13 knockouts. We haven't seen his grappling game that much in the UFC. He was able to survive a very, very deep choke attempt by Dustin Stoltzfus last time out, which was a little bit of a, ordinary performance against someone that he was expected to finish. But he still got the win. Overcame some adversity in that fight. This fight, though, I just feel like the physical pressure, the power in the hands of Ruziboev is going to be too much for Andrey Pulyaev. He's a bit of a fucking stick figure. I just feel like he just looks like someone that's going to get chinned. And Ruziboev does have devastating power in the hands. I mean, finishes over Bruno Ferreira, who's fighting later in the fight. I mean, Eric McConaughey, couldn't get it done over Joaquin Buckley, but that was at welterweight, and he's much too fucking big to be fighting at welterweight. And he turned Buckley into a wrestler. Okay, just saying. I think he's going to catch one of Pulyaev's kicks, or look to counter one and just bomb him with an overhand. I think he's going to catch a kick of Pulyaev and bomb him with an overhand. I think he did something similar to Bruno Ferreira, I believe. Maybe it was the guy before that. No, I think it was Bruno Ferreira. He caught a kick of Bruno Ferreira and just bombed him with an overhand. That was it. Yeah, it was. I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, man. I just feel like the pressure, not crazy output, but very dangerous. And he when he lands, it's on, I think he's going to be able to find the chin of Andrey Pulyaev in the first round, put him out. Round 1 knockout for Nursulton Ruziboev. Enough said, okay? Enough said. Even though Gordier couldn't get him out of there, I feel like this is a little bit of a different style. This guy's more experienced with finding that finish. I think he's going to be able to get it done. He's not afraid to chase him to the ground, where Gordier didn't even bother with that. Let's move on. Next fight of the night. We got another round 1 finish. It's simple as that. Abdul Rakhman Yakhyaev versus Julius Walker. Can you guess who I'm picking? I'm picking Yakhyaev, the Turkish freak. Yes, there were some concerns from the last fight. Brenderson Ribeiro, he was landing on him. Yakhyaev, he was kind of, running into shots. Not really respecting what was coming back at him, and he was getting landed on. So there is a concern there. But I think the more that happens, he hopefully he will learn from that. But even so, if he does not, I don't think Julius Walker has the type of striking threat to be able to, cause too much danger. Yakhyaev, very elusive on the feet, deep toolkit. The fucking, I think it was the Rafael Sequeira finish. Yeah. Go watch that shit. That sequence, that finish sequence. Insane. I think it was like a 1-2 head kick, like Robert Whittaker type shit, into a spinning back kick, into a fucking ground and pound, into a rear naked choke. Crazy, crazy stuff. Crazy, crazy stuff. If you haven't seen that finish, go watch it. It's fucking sick. Yakhyaev, very fucking dangerous. Very, very dangerous on the feet. Big power. Julius Walker, coming off a knockout loss to Dustin Jacoby. He likes to mix in the grappling. But one thing that stood out to me in the Dustin Jacoby fight was a takedown entry that he made early on in the fight, and he put himself straight into the front headlock, straight into a Darce choke. Dustin Jacoby couldn't get it done, but I think if you're going to give someone like Yakhyaev a look like that, I think he'll find the finish. Whether it be Julius Walker shooting off his own instincts, so he wants to get the fight to the ground, and he shoots and just sticks his head into something, a bad shot, or whether it be Yakhyaev cracking him on the feet to force a bad shot from Julius Walker, I think it's going to be one of those two. And I think we're going to see Yakhyaev pull off a submission win in the very first round inside of 2 minutes. Inside of 2.5 minutes. Under half a round. That's what I'm going to go with here, all right? He's finishing people pretty easily. And Julius Walker couldn't finish Shaquera, which is a big fucking warning sign. Lost to Alonzo Menifield and Dustin Jacoby. Like, those losses aren't too bad. Don't get me wrong. Good names. I mean, Alonzo Menifield a bit up there, but look, he just fucking fraud checked Zhang Yang, whatever the fuck his name is. It's probably not that good, but still, Alonzo's been around, you know? You can't take too much from the losses, but from his performances, that's where we're going to take the shit from, you know? Abdul, Rakhman, Yakhyaev, submission, Darce choke, round 1, okay? That's what we're going with. Let's move on. I think this is the feature prelim bout. We have a 4-0, 4 professional fights coming in to fight Eric Nolan, or Farman Hasanov, I should say his fucking name. Farman Hasanov. 4 professional fights, feature prelim. The fuck? You wouldn't put fucking Yakhyaev or something in this spot? Maybe they'll switch it around, and maybe they already have. And maybe I should have checked that before fucking, you know, but I've checked it a few times this week and it hasn't changed. So this is what I got when I put this fucking slide together, okay? I feel like you could have put some other fights in the feature prelim, but Farman Hasanov, Azerbaijani prospect, so maybe that's like, I'm guessing that's like the angle that they're picking here. He's a hometown prospect. Very dangerous. This dude is built like a fucking, like a super soldier. You look at it, he's like the most ideal physique for a bloke to have, you know? Just super soldier type shit. Coming in against Eric Nolan, wide-eyed as fuck, by the way. I don't know why he's looking at me like that. He gave some troubles. He gave some troubles to Baisengur Susakayev early on, you know? Gave him some troubles on the feet. He's all right. He's all right on the feet, you know? But he does have holes in the grappling. And I think Hasanov can expose that, you know? I watched one of his fights back. He was able to get takedowns quite easily on the dude. He was able to smash him. Absolutely smash him with elbows. Nasty, nasty, nasty ground and pound. I think it was his last fight. Very nasty ground and pound. Opened up a big fucking cut on the dude. Ended up having the fight stopped by the doctor in the last 2 seconds of the first round. I don't know why they didn't just let the fucking round finish there, by the way. Very unproven, though. Very, very, very unproven, though. So it's hard to say that he's definitely going to win confidently, but I don't put all that much stock in Eric Nolan despite having some success against Baisengur Susakayev. I think the grappling holes are going to show again here. I think Farman's going to be able to take him down and either just ground and pound him out or find a submission, which I am preferring the submission. I think he will be landing ground and pound, which will force Eric Nolan to give up a bad position. I think we're going to see Farman Hasanov pull off his first pro submission victory in round 1. Round 1. That's what we're going to go with, all right? Round 1 submission for Farman Hasanov. Okay? Let's move on to the main card of the night. First fight, we have Abus Magomedov versus Mikhail Olajaychik. Interesting fight, man. Interesting fight. Both guys, you know, had their ups and downs. Olajaychik, he's on a 3-fight win streak. I don't know how much you can really take from it, given the the weight of the opponents, Dumas, and today's Gerald Meerschaert, I mean, all 2025, but still not a whole lot you can take from those. A decision over Marc-Andre Barrios with a real iffy second round. Oleg Jacek, he worries me. Very, very powerful in the hands. Obviously, legendary Polish power. You know? Legendary Polish power. It's a real thing. It's a real fucking thing that these guys have. And Mikhail Oleg Jacek, he's a good candidate to show that off. But Abus Magomedov, he also comes in very dangerous, good power in the hands, 14 TKOs, submission game. This is the key in this matchup, you know? This is the key in this matchup. The submission game, the grappling game of Abus Magomedov. Now, yes, he did just get submitted by Joe Pyfer. Yes, he did. That is a thing. There is holes on the ground. And yes, he slows down drastically, which is a concern because I am going to pick him to win this fight. Abus Magomedov I'm talking about. I think he's going to win by decision. I think he's going to win by submission. There's a clear hole in the submission defense of Mikhail Jacek, and that's why I'm going with Abus by submission. 6 submission losses. Oleg Jacek is very open for the submission in a scramble. And I don't think this fight is going to go without a scramble. You know? I could see Abus pulling off like a Kimura. Pulling off something, a Das choke. Pulling off anything, you know? Anything. I could see him just getting the back from a scramble and pulling off a rear naked. Mikhail Jacek is really open for submissions. He doesn't want to be on the ground. He wants to be standing up, having that high output on the feet. Big power, looking to rip to the body. He does that very well. He does work the body. He mixes up his levels very well. He can be outworked in the clinch, though. You know? And that's where I think, you know, Abus could try and take this early on, get him into the clinch, and, you know, slow him down a bit early on, get the takedowns. I do see this fight get into the ground at some point, whether it be Mikhail kind of rocking Abus and him getting him to force the grappling and then end up in a scramble and having Abus find himself in a good position, or whether Abus just, you know, opens up with the striking and looks to set up a takedown off that. I could see it being either way as far as that goes, but I do think there is going to be some scrambles in this fight, forced by Abus Magomedov. I'm going to say he gets a submission win. Okay. Round 1. Round 1 submission win for Abus Magomedov. That's what I'm going to go with, all right? He's very dangerous early. He does slow late, which is a concern. I could see Mikhail pulling off a late TKO or a decision win, but I'm going to side with Abus Magomedov, all right? Let's move on. Ikram Aliskerov versus Bruno Ferreira. I'm going with Bruno Ferreira. He's a big underdog here. And I don't rate Ikram Aliskerov all that much. Okay? Coming off of a decision win over Hyung Park. Okay? Andre Muniz. Round 1 knockout. You should be doing that. But you shouldn't be letting Andre Muniz really have any success whatsoever on the feet against you. Yeah, there wasn't any danger in that fight from him, but Muniz was landing. Muniz was able to land on Ikram Aliskerov. And something about Ikram Aliskerov that concerns me big time is his chin. His chin, he's been colded bad. Whitaker and Chimaev. Now, I know what you're saying. It's Whitaker and Chimaev. Come on. They're fucking elite guys. Yes, they are. Absolutely. But both of them put him out very quickly. And Whitaker's not the kind of guy to just be coming out and knocking people out within 2 minutes. Okay? So that kind of signals to me that this guy's chin doesn't really hold up that well to people who can, put a bit of pop in their shots. And Bruno Ferreira is someone that has a bit of fucking pop in their shots. This dude has some serious knockouts. Knocked out Gregory Rodriguez bad early on. He is coming off of a knockout to him in the rematch. Yes. And he's been finished a couple of times, knocked out by the guy we spoke about earlier, Ruziboev. Again, very dangerous. But if I'm being honest, and Abus Magomedov, he submitted him in the third round, which was a back and forth fight. Both had their moments. Something about Ikram Alaskarov, I feel like he's just a more ploddy, less dangerous, less experienced version of Abus Magomedov. Looks like those things out of fucking King Kong. Those weird fucking things. Maybe I'm off there, but if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. But yeah, I just like he's very, very ploddy, very ploddy, and so is Ferreira in his own way. But I think Ferreira is a whole lot more explosive and has a whole lot more danger on the feet. Ikram, he is dangerous on the feet. He does have good power in the hands. And the grappling, that's the big threat here. And I think he will try and mix it in. And he does have decent takedowns and good control. But he wasn't able to just shut out Hung Chung Park. Hung Chung Park, especially early on, he was able to get up very easily. And Bruno Ferreira, while he will jump a gilly and end up in a bad position, or he will sometimes make a mistake like that, he can force scrambles and he's not lost on the ground. He does have the submission threat. And it's not a bad one either. He's pretty good with the submission threat. And I think that's going to be enough to be able to force the scrambles on any takedown attempts or any takedowns that Ikram is able to get. And I think he's going to be able to work his way back up. And that's if it does get to the ground. Maybe it doesn't. I'm going to say Bruno Ferreira sleeps this dude in the first round as soon as he gets his hands on him. Clean. As soon as he lands a clean shot, I think we're going to see Ikram walking on fucking Legos. And then we're going to see Bruno Ferreira follow up with something nasty. A big fucking looping shot, Hamza and Whitaker, they were able to catch him with some clean shit. But Bruno Ferreira is able to make it crazy, able to cause chaos in the fight. And with someone who's a little bit slower and a little bit more ploddy, like Ikram Alaskarov, despite having that grappling threat to mix in, I think he's getting slept here again. Big underdog, by the way, in Bruno Ferreira. I think these odds are well off. Yeah, I'd probably say you could have Ikram as a slight favorite. But when you look at who they've been fighting, I honestly think Bruno's fought like slightly better dudes. And like Gregory Rodriguez, he's fought him twice, man. Gregory Rodriguez would fucking sleep Ikram Alaskarov in a second. Not in a second, but he would. I feel like he would easily fucking sleep him, Yeah, Bruno's still learning. They're both still learning. They're both still fairly. They're both in their 30s. I think Ikram's a little bit older. Yeah. Older by a month. Huh. Crazy. Anyways, round 1 knockout. Bruno Ferreira. That's what we're going with. All right. Taking him over the ploddy Russian. Let's move on. Asu Almakhan versus Charles Johnson. Now, fuck this cunt! I hate him. I hate him so much. I'm talking about fucking Charles Johnson. Ah! I'm sorry. Fuck. I'm sorry. I hope your ears don't hurt after that. This guy just makes me angry, bro. I'm sorry about that. Charles Johnson, I just can't seem to pick one of his fucking fights correctly, man. It just makes me fucking angry, as you can see. Fucking hell. I'm picking Asu Almakhan, but big disclaimer here. Disclaimer. I haven't picked a Charles Johnson fight correctly. Okay? disclaimer. So, perhaps just go with the opposite of what I say here. Okay? But I'm going to give you my read and my reasoning on why I'm picking Asu Almakhan. I don't put him on the level of a Muhammad Yakhyaev, who was able to, get his chain wrestling approach going on Charles Johnson, stall out his game, just constantly making him work. But I feel like I could put Asu Almakhan on a similar level, if not slightly better, to a Rafael Estevam, who also was able to do that to Charles Johnson and get a win over him by decision. Now, Almakhan is probably a little bit smaller than Estevam, so maybe that'll come into the fray here, because Charles Johnson, obviously, ugly cunt, dumb haircut for the fucking ages. Like, just get rid of it, cunt. It's growing to be worse. I liked it better when it was just the little patch on the back, but it's getting worse every time it comes out. That last time against fucking Bruno Silva in a fight which I thought it was very, very close, but I thought he lost. Can see it going either way though. It was very close, but I did think he lost that fight. His hair looked the absolute fucking worst it's ever, Not that fucking matters or anything. But I've just got this personal thing here with Charles Johnson. I don't even hate him personally that much, and I like the way he fights. Like, he's exciting to watch at times. Just fucking get his fucking fights right, Pisses me off. I think the chain wrestling, constant grappling threat of an Asu Almakhan, I think he's going to get the takedowns early. I don't think he's going to be able to really hold down and control Charles Johnson for the entire fight, per se. But I think the takedowns will be there. I am worried because from the jump, I'm thinking Charles Johnson wins this. Charles Johnson wins this, possibly like a decision or a late rounds TKO, because he builds into fights very well. Very awkward, very, very awkward switch stance kind of style. He likes to work from the southpaw. Very rangy striking. When he puts it on, he's very, very dangerous. Once he really gets going. Like, once you've seen him get going against Lonnie Kavanagh, you could see it kind of shifting. And it was like, oh, fuck. I feel like the early stages of this fight is where Asu Almakhan is going to be winning. And then I think Charles Johnson's going to be pulling it back at the later end of the fight. And the question is, how far can Asu push before he starts to slow and before Charles Johnson really starts to, defend all the grappling and keep it on the feet and start to, outwork Almakhan on the feet. Now, Almakhan on the feet, I feel like he looks not that great, and sometimes like output wise, he gets caught throwing like one or two shots and not really throwing a whole lot of combinations. But when he can get going and when he gets a little bit more confident on the feet, he's not too bad offensively. It's just defensively that is really concerning. The way he backs up, he's very open for shots, and there's just a lot of concerns there defensively for Asu Almakhan. So I do worry about this fight for him on the feet, especially after watching the Manuel Cup fight back. I don't think Charles Johnson is quite as dangerous as Manuel Cup, but he has more of an output. And with that awkward style, I can definitely see it causing problems for Almakhan. But I think Almakhan is going to be able to get the decision nod here. I'm going to say he wins the first 2 rounds, gets the takedowns. He is a very good grappler. I think he will get those takedowns early on. I think the more the fight goes on, that's going to start to wear off. But I think he'll do enough in those first 2 rounds to pick him up. Maybe like a 29-28 split decision win. I'm sensing something like that here. I'm thinking a split decision, Charles Johnson is good at making it close. Split decision over Bruno Silva. Swear to God, if I get this one wrong again, I might blow up. I might blow up. Okay, my head might just explode, and I might never make a video again. Okay. Let's move on. Asur Almakhan by decision is my pick. I'm sorry to fucking blow your ears up like that, okay? Nazim Sadikov versus Matthias Camilo. Fucking hell, why did I find that so hard? I'm going with Nazim Sadikov here. I am a little bit worried. Because, you know, there's a lot of times where he's kind of bringing fights back. You know, he's kind of like coming back in fights that he's losing clearly. He got kind of dog walked, didn't have any output, couldn't get any success, couldn't get anything going against Fiziev. And Fiziev just got, you know, he just lost to Tom Nolan. And I'm not going to fucking say anything bad about that because I think Tom Nolan's great. And I actually picked him to win that fight. Not many people did, you know? A lot of people were very high on Fiziev. I never was. It's besides the point. That's not who we're fucking talking about here, okay? Nazim Sadikov, very wild, aggressive kind of style. Dangerous everywhere. He does have a submission threat, but there are holes in the grappling. He was able to be out-controlled and out-grappled by Fiziev quite easily. And Fiziev, not necessarily someone I look at as a very dangerous grappler. While he does mix it in his fights, he's been exposed in that area at times as well. So I don't put too much stock into the grappling of a Fiziev, who was able to, you know, control Nazim Sadikov quite easily, which worries me here because Matthias Camilo, he does have that grappling threat. More TKOs than submissions. I'd say more so ground and pound kind of TKO situations. The thing that worries me about Camilo is just the way he handles adversity in fights. He was doing really well against Gabriel Green. Eventually, he had a locked in. What was it? Head and arm triangle? No. He had a locked in submission and he ended up fucking fumbling it, and then Gabe Green submitted him out. Okay? Simple as that. He didn't handle adversity too well. He's all right on the feet. Nothing crazy. I think Nazim Sadikov's going to have an obvious advantage on the feet. I think he's going to be a lot more dangerous on the feet. I mean, I could go ahead and say that. I mean, I don't know, man. I want to say Nazim Sadikov TKOs him late in the fight. I feel like Matthias Camilo is probably going to win the first round. We've seen a lot of dudes come in and have early success against Nazim Sadikov. You know, the draw with Vyacheslav Borshev is a big concern. He had very dominant second round over him. Almost finished him. Couldn't quite get it done. Lost the first and the third. Ended up being a draw. It's performances like that really, it's exclamation, it's question marks, and it makes me fucking wonder why the fuck I ever did pick him against Fiziev. But that was mostly because of the doubts I had on Ziem as opposed to the hype I had on Nazim, you know? Whereas Camilo, I'm not that hyped on him. He's not that dangerous, I don't think. You know? I don't think he's bringing in that much danger to the game, and I think on the feet he's just going to be outmatched. While Nazim, he does get hit a lot, more so than he lands statistically. But so does Camilo, okay? So I think that evens out here. And with a higher output on the feet for Nazim, I think he's going to be able to put it on Camilo. And I think he's actually going to have Camilo forcing some messy shots. And I know I did say that there's concerns with the grappling of Nazim Sadikov. But he does have the submission ability, and he is training with good guys, you know? Trains with Marab and all them. Okay? Nazim Sadiqov, I'm taking him to win this fight by round 2, late round 2 or round 3 submission, okay? That's what we're going to go with. I could see it being a TKO as well. Could see him just trying to keep it on the feet and getting a TKO victory in front of the home crowd. It's probably what he would prefer, you know. But if it's there for him, and if Camilo is forcing the grappling on him, then I could see, like, in a bad exchange after getting cracked or hurt, and that's where I could see Nazim pulling something off on the ground and getting that submission win. That's what we're going to go with. Let's move on. I don't know how much time I've spent on this fucking fight night prediction video, but I've got to stop rambling so much on some of these fights. Shara Magomedov versus Michel Pereira. I feel like this one's pretty easy to read, you know? I feel like this one is pretty easy to read. Obviously, we've got Shara Magomedov, dangerous kickboxer, likes to take the back foot, very, very, very kick heavy. Will be smashing up the legs. Very fast with the kicks too. He's very, very fast, very light on the feet, moves around very well. Very good movement for a middleweight. Where you got Michel Pereira, comes out, he's very athletic as well, but it does not last throughout 3 rounds. It lasts about a minute to 2.5 minutes, sometimes depending on his output. Last time out, he was a lot more, you know, composed with it, didn't have a whole lot of output. He got a, you know, close decision win over Zach Reyes, had him in some trouble early on, and that's where the big danger comes in here. And it does worry me a bit because we have seen Shara, you know, rocked at times. Petrosian was able to hurt him a little bit early. Marc-Andre Barriot was able to hurt him a little bit, I think, in that second round. I was expecting him to TKO Marc-Andre, but he kind of pieced him up. He kind of pieced him up over 3 rounds. He did, obviously, that little bit of reversing in the second round there, but for the most part, he did all right. Barriot, you know, he builds into fights well, so did the same thing to Mikhail Jacek. Oh, what's going on here? Oops. Oh, fuck. All right. Back. Sorry, guys. I was just gonna say I might cut that bit out, but I'm pretty sure I was fucking talking. It's okay. All right. Where was I? Michel Pereira. Yes, very dangerous early. Can finish the fight anywhere. Nasty power in the hands. His body kicks are something that he uses very well. He slams body kicks, and I think that's going to be good for him working here at range because Shara likes to work at range. Yeah, I just think Michel Pereira is going to bust his load early, and Shara is going to pick him apart and find a late round 2 or round 3 TKO. He's going to rip up the legs of Michel Pereira, keep him moving, which I think will slow Michel down a lot. He's very bouncy and athletic early, but like I said, that does not last. And I think with Shara making him move consistently for that first round, we could see some potential early danger, but I think he's going to slow him right down and really start to tee off on him a bit more into that second and third round. We've seen the pace of the Zach Reyes fight. We've seen the pace of the Abus Magomedov fight. Very slow into the second and third round. Magomedov's going to be way quicker than him the more this fight builds on. And I think once it gets to it, it's going to get to a point where he's just landing on him a lot more. And it's going to come to a point where Michel just, you know, succumbs to the damage. And Shara's going to TKO him late round 2 or round 3 TKO. Okay? That's what we're going to go with. Let's move on to the main event. Right. In the main event, we got Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. This is interesting. This is an interesting matchup, okay? This is a very interesting matchup. You know? This is tough. Danger versus technical ability. This is tough, man. This is tough. I'm picking Manuel Torres. I'm a big fan of Manuel Torres. And I've done very well at predicting his fights throughout his time in the UFC, including the one that he lost, which was to Ignacio Bahamondes, who Rafael Fiziev beat quite convincingly by decision in Baku last year. That's why this is interesting. Now, the thing about that, it's tough to say that Bahamondes isn't as dangerous as Manuel Torres because Bahamondes knocked out Manuel Torres. Okay? It's tough to say that. But I think Manuel Torres is a whole lot more dangerous than Ignacio Bahamondes. He's obviously got incredible power in the hands. Obviously. Very dangerous in the pocket. Last time out against Grant Dawson, big underdog, looked good, very patient, was, very, very patient. A lot of the time he likes to come forward and just put it on dudes. There is worries with his defensive tendencies in the striking. One thing that he does quite often, which does worry me a bit here, is when he steps in with his 1-2, he kind of stays there and his chin's there for the big counter right hook, just the big counter right. He does stay there for that, and that does worry me, but the power threat of Fiziev it's never really been there, like who is Fiziev knocking out? Who is Fiziev knocking out? Yeah, RDA. I think in the 5th round or whatever. Very old RDA. Took him a while. Who else? Why can't I think of his name? Moicano, Money Moicano. A little bit of an early stoppage, some might say. The technical ability of Rafael Fiziev is incredible. Don't get me wrong, Muay Thai striker. Very, very technical, very fast. I think the speed will be a big difference here. And he is good with his counters. He's good at setting up counters, pulling people into his big shots. Combination striking, very good. And again, very fucking fast, Both guys will switch stance, which makes this interesting. Because the same thing was with Fiziev and Bahamondes. Both guys switching stance. And Bahamondes, he really, he wanted that open stance. And he Fiziev just wouldn't let him have it. Whereas, I feel like with Manuel Torres, that's probably not going to bother him as much. Maybe I'm wrong. But I feel like he's pretty comfortable either way. But there are the concerns in the striking defense, like I mentioned. It's just tough to say that Fiziev's just going to bomb him out with one shot. Now, this is a 5-round fight. So maybe Torres comes in a little bit more patient, a little bit more, just chill. Not fucking trying to get it done in the first round, because I'm pretty sure all of but one of his finishes come from the very first round. And I think the one was a submission. I'm pretty sure. I'd need to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure this is the fight where I had that written down, you know? Very fucking dangerous, to say the least. Okay? Drew Dober bombed him out. Chris Duncan, submission in the first round. That's impressive. A lot of people were very high on Chris Duncan before he lost to Moicano. You know? A lot of people were very high on him. Myself also. Like, I mean, I didn't pick him in a lot of his fights because I could see that, you know, he likes to scrap, and a lot of the time he just kind of just pulls it off. But he's very dangerous, you know? And he did hurt Torres early in that fight. With that, exactly what I was talking about, Torres stepping in and staying there for the counter. With exactly that. And it's the same thing that Bahamondes got him with, which does worry me, which means he hasn't really learned from it, because he did the same thing against Drew Dober, but Drew Dober did not capitalize on it. So I am very worried about this pick in that case. But like I said, the power threat of Rafael Fiziev ain't that deadly, you know? It ain't that deadly. He's going to really pick you apart. He's going to look to pick you apart quick, fast, you know? He's been knocked out 3 times. He's coming off of a knockout loss to Mauricio Ufi in Sydney. At the start of the year, I was there in the crowd. Once again, that shit was fucking awesome. I was going nuts in that moment. It sealed the deal on a pretty fucking juicy parlay that we landed, you know, paid for the whole fucking trip. That shit was good, okay? That shit was very fucking good. I was very fucking happy. Then we topped it off to follow with a fucking, you know, another one after BSD one, okay? It was a good time, okay? It was a good time for myself. Not so much for Rafael Fiziev. I think Rafael Fiziev's going to lose this fight at home in the main event. Azerbaijani. I don't think the Azerbaijanis do as well as they did last year. Yes, Tafik Masayev didn't win, but Nazim and Fiziev pulled it off. I do not think Fiziev pulls this one off, okay? I think Manuel Torres is very dangerous. 3 TKO losses on the record of Rafael Fiziev. Yes, one was to Mateusz Gamrot, and it was a knee injury, so I wiped that off the board. There was an earlier loss in his career where he lost by, I think it was a spinning wheel kick to some Russian dude. I think it was like his first fight in the UFC. Man, I do worry about the counters of Rafael Fiziev and the combination striking, but I am going to pick Manuel Torres. I'm going to say he wins his fight by knockout. He can mix in the grappling if he needs to. I think if he is going to get the grappling going, because Fiziev does have good grappling defense. He was able to stop the takedowns of Mateusz Gamrot quite easily. But I think where Torres will find that kind of success, if he's going to go for it, will be from the clinch and like the body lock and stuff like that. He's very strong from that position, especially with his weird, like, mutant-like frame. There was one moment in the Chris Duncan fight where he literally is just able to lock his hands with like a high, almost like a half body lock, half fucking arm triangle type fucking grip, and just threw him, you know, judo threw him straight to the ground, just power mogged him, you know, and then that eventually led on to the submission. So I could see him mixing in the grappling here if it gets a bit funny for him on the feet, and I could see him just pulling off something there. But Fiziev is shown to be pretty sound as far as the takedown defense goes. We haven't seen a whole lot of him actually on the ground, so maybe Torres could expose something there, but I think he's going to land something on the chin of Rafael Fiziev. I'm going to say we're going to get a late round 1 or round 2 knockout for the side of the Mexican. Manuel fucking Torres gets it done, all right? El fucking Loco. I'm a big fan of this dude. Yes, there's holes in his game, but I think he's quite exciting, and that's not just why I'm picking him. I just feel like Rafael Fiziev maybe a little bit overrated. a little bit overrated. He is good, but I just feel like the physicality of him at lightweight, it's just not as much as some of these really fucking big dudes, you know? And that's why I'm going to go with Manuel Torres. A big power puncher that really knows what he's doing and has technical ability and can set up the counters. He's going to check Torres all day, every day if he's going to continue making these same mistakes. But I'm going to sleep on the power of Rafael Fiziev here, okay? Hopefully I don't eat my words. And that's going to be the end of the video, all right? Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope I didn't fucking ramble too much. And I hope I wasn't mouth breathing too much. I feel like shit. I'm going to be honest. I feel like crap. But it's okay because we're at the end of the video. Drop a like and a sub if you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm going to try and get some other content out other than predictions and recaps over the weekend. Hopefully, I can get my voice back a little bit better and can feel a bit better doing these videos. I did try and get something up yesterday because I want just more than this. I want more than this on this channel, you know? I'm building and I'm improving, and over the next like couple of years, I know I will have a lot for you guys. But for now, I'm just building, okay? And I hope I can really get this going sooner rather than later, okay, guys? But we're going to keep smashing out these predictions. And hopefully, we haven't landed one yet. Hopefully, maybe this is the one. We can land a perfect fucking card someday soon, all right? Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, if you enjoy the content, drop a like and a sub. It'll make my fucking day. Seeing one new subscriber Seeing one new subscriber come through, fucking hell, actually makes my day. It's just one person. I mean, it's great. It's great, all right? Enough of that. Thank you so much. Goodbye. See you guys in the next one.